Let's kick it now. What a beautiful night out. These are my favorite nights. Let's kick it now, you know what I'm saying? Keeping it real and shit. Let's kick it now, you know what I'm saying? Callie out there. I think one of those, somebody get hidden accidentally or something. Let's rock. Callie, where are you? Pug? Where you at? Where you at, Rob? I don't know why this thing takes so long to fire up. Let's rock and shit, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a bot. That's why it comes on. The bot comes on quick, and then they, make sure I'm not giving terrorist instructions or something. Then they approve it for people to know that I'm on, even though they don't send notices. Let's rock. Let's rock. Let's rock it. I hated signing off on that one, but it was just going to be a bunch of bullshit. I don't have a good signal over there, and when it's raining, when it's raining, you can just spend your whole night repeating yourself, and I just said, fuck it. So let's rock. Rob, are you out there? Are you out there? Repeat. Pug, are you out there? Repeat. Callie, are you out there? Repeat. Stephanie, you're out there. Repeat. Repeat. Okay, good. Did you follow my story up to the point, Callie? Did you follow me up until I signed off? So I want to get feedback on this. Oh, you did? Okay, then I'll just go on then. I'll give Pug like one more minute to go on. So give me some feedback on this now, goddammit. I want to know if I overstepped my boundaries, if you thought anything was inappropriate. I want to be called on the carpet if necessary. See what I mean? How do you know that I'm on? I mean, this time, I signed off and you came on again, but does it show you something on your YouTube, or do you just kind of have to look on your own? This fucking thing seems slow sometimes. Hey, McFias. Oh, you looked on your own. Yeah, sorry about that. Oh, just on your phone. Okay. Well, I don't know. I hope Pug heard that I was signing off, so she knew to sign back on. So, Callie, were you up to the point where I had a discussion with the contractor that built the house? Raining nicely here. Yeah. Pug, were you up with the story until I signed off? Did you hear that up until where I was talking to the contractor? All right, so I'll just say it over again. I told you I have a good day. I know sometimes when I drink too much coffee that I can be aggressive. You know, something good or bad both can get exacerbated. So I try not to drink too much coffee. And it's a lot for health reasons. So today I worked out hard yesterday. I worked out a lot with weights, and then I walked 6.2 miles. And then I got a great night's sleep last night. I woke up feeling good. Kind of laid in bed for a while, for about an hour. Took off and got my Starbucks latte with the extra shot, which is a shit ton of caffeine. Went to the Chinese restaurant, talked to a couple girls I know that works there. Yeah, thank you, Hydra, I agree. And had a good conversation. Then I went to the bookstore. I got 4 good, interesting books, cheap. And then I was going to pick Marty up something to go. So I went to a Carrabba's and I got that. And then there's a place that serves custard, which I normally don't like. but they have good cheesecake there, and he likes cheesecake. So I went and got him a piece of cheesecake. And while I was talking to the girl there, she's in nursing school. We talked August. Let's see how they react. We talked about 20 minutes about different stuff. She's like in her third year of nursing school. It was fun, really. And I ordered another latte, not with an extra shot, but by the time I got out of there and headed home, you could say I had too much caffeine. So as I said earlier, when I was growing up, I did a lot of sports and stuff, and contact sports and basketball, particularly kickboxing, boxing. And coming up, I noticed that there was a big difference around the African Americans and the white guys. And the white guys, if you were asked his girlfriend out, he'd come over your house and he'd threaten to kick your ass and he'd shove you, and a bunch of people would grab each of you and nobody would do shit. And then when I hung around black guys, particularly in Detroit, I moved to Detroit in the hood just to play basketball all night long for a year. And I noticed there, like, it was so much different that if there was a beef there or some confrontation, you probably weren't going to be playing there to begin with if that wasn't for you. And these guys just had so much different of a way of handling things. Like if there was a beef, they just slug it out right then and there. If you did something or you stole from them, they go right over your house and they're not even going to talk to you about it. They're just going to start beating your ass. And I thought, man, I really had respect for these guys. Instead of just a bunch of bullshit and talking and stuff, but these guys really handled things much differently. And you don't want a record of assault. You don't want to get arrested. But I thought, well, if something ever comes your way, you're just going to have to be like they are. I mean, it's effective. It's going to get around that you're like that. And I've been that way my whole damn life. I really have, even to this day. So, jacked up on the coffee, there's a girl that works at the gas station. And the last time I was in there, she had a biracial stepdaughter. She's been married 3 times. I guess her husband's been married 3 times. They've had tough times. I hear about it when I go down there. I don't care, but I'm supportive of her. Good luck to you. I mean, like I tell people from day one, Pug will know this, even if she, part of her, hates me. I tell you like it is. I think it's a manifestation of mental illness as opposed to just being a good, honest guy. Because there's no rational theory on just being that way. Because I've really never met anybody that way. Now, I'm appropriate, so, if I'm in a place where I'm with somebody else, I'm just not going to go out telling the truth. I used to tell my ex-wife all the time. She said her mother was very upfront and said what she had on her mind, and I always said, yeah, you know what you call that? Ignorant. This lady has no tact, and she just makes a fool of herself all the time, and she doesn't know when to say something and when not to. It's kind of along the lines of the theory of picking your enemies. And there's been times when I should have said something and I didn't, and vice versa. So anyway, I walked in there, all hopped up at caffeine, great day. I'm going to buy some more Mega Million tickets. And no, but I said parts of you. I'm going to buy some more Mega Million tickets, and this girl's working. And I met her other daughter, who's a pretty white girl, and this girl was mixed about a week ago. And I said, hey, I guess old hubby liked black girls at one time. She said, yeah, he did, She said, as a matter of fact, he was married to 2 black women before he married me. And I said, okay. And I said, now this is where it gets iffy. And I want an honest opinion on this. This will make me be a better person. Now, mind you, we joke and talk about all sorts of shit. So it isn't like I'm going into the Virgin Mary and ask her if she thinks 69's the best position. It's kind of, when in Rome, doing the Romans do, and lay it out there. So I said to her, I'm wondering if your husband ever shut his eyes and compared you to the black women. I wonder if it's any different. Now, you could take that a lot of ways. And she laughed, and she said, no, she said, I never did. And I said, well, I've looked for that in books, and I've tried to research it, but, who knows? And we just kind of dropped it, and we both laughed, and that was the end of it. Well, that fucking contractor, that motherfucker, when I signed that contract for him to build that new house, he's a big religious Bible thumper, which I'm honest with you, I'm like 3% pissed already. Because most of them that I meet are full of shit. But it all seemed good, and they're all running around with Bibles, and the kids seem nice, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you don't have time to vet everybody 100%, so I hired him. Well, as soon as I hired him, that motherfucker went and started building a house of his own. And he's on his second marriage, and this fucking lady he's working to, he's so pussy-whipped, it's unbelievable. If they don't have any money and he's behind in his job, she said, hey, motherfucker, we're going on vacation, and you don't see him for a week, even though they're behind in work. Well, I had the shelf collapse thing, and he had one of his guys install a window in the other house, and it wasn't level. It's like, so he came back and fixed it. And there's a bunch of shit that should have been done better in my house that wasn't. Well, Marty is the opposite. Marty, like, is non-confrontational. Everything ends on a good note, and I'm just not that fucking way. So, but Marty doesn't want to go into a bunch of detail about what was wrong, and as a third party, try to negotiate or tell this fucking stupid son of a bitch to get back there and fix what he should have done right the first time. So I said, hey, why don't you get this motherfucker over here? You know, because Marty's always buying shit, building shit, and we'll have a meeting, and I want somebody to be there when I tell this guy what I like. Well, during the summer, on one of his vacations, the house took 3 times longer than it was supposed to. Not a big deal, because I was living over here, and you know, it didn't matter where I lived. I didn't really care. But some of the work quality was just terrible on some of the finished stuff. So we go over there, and he comes, and this guy does not see this coming. He thinks that it's just going to be a meeting about a punch list and what we need to get done. And that was another caffeine day, like today. So we start fucking talking, and I'm getting more pissed, and he's like getting aggressive with me in front of Marty, and I don't want to embarrass Marty. And it's like he made some comment to me, like, where if I ever, well, we'll take care of it outside, if I, something to that effect, right? And that's it right then. It's like, take care of something outside. I said, I'll do it right now. And then he says to me, don't you raise your voice to me. And Marty's there, and Marty is saying, guys, you know, no, it's okay. And he said, don't you ever raise, and then he gets like, steps up to me. He said, don't you ever raise, and that did it. It's like, hey man, you shut your ass up right now. As a matter of fact, if you say one more thing, I'm just going to beat your fucking ass right in front of Marty. I think you're a fucking fraud. You got a bunch of dope addicts working on my goddamn house. And you did a shitty job. And Marty's saying, guys, just like turn. And I was like, no. And I didn't even get to the fucking work quality part. I'm just barely getting into it. Took 3 times longer than it should have. And this motherfucker was always on vacation when it would have seemed that he would have been doing some work in a house that he knew it was behind. So it finally came to it's like, hey, I'm pissed. I said, well, let's just go out here right now off the property on that public road. I said, if I ever see you out in front anywhere, I don't care if you're with your woman, your wife, your kids, nothing, I'll give you an opportunity to take care of this. You know, I'm fucking pissed, right? That was the end of it. Marty says, well, you know, I don't want that guy back on the property. And I thought, oh, okay, yeah, it's fucking, okay, that's fine. It's like, I don't want him on mine either. So there's probably $10,000 worth of shit that I'll pay for that I shouldn't have to pay for because Marty's non-confrontational. He saw what I was like under that situation, and it's worth just not having somebody like, okay, I can live with that. That's no fucking problem. Well, as I said, I'm in the same place where I bought the lottery tickets, right? Now, if you and I have some kind of beef, or there's a problem, or somebody, like I've had it with girlfriends, wives, what the fuck ever, they'll come up and say something. I can give you all sorts of examples. And I'd like to say, now you never know, I've never had a whiny, melodramatic girlfriend or wife. I don't think that I have. If anything, you had to pry something out of them, you found it out accidentally. They're not telling you anything because they know how you are, and they didn't take it as serious. Like, I can give you a bunch of examples. From one time, we were in a restaurant, and she's a vegetarian, and she got fucking linguine with some kind of shit on it. You know, vegetarian thing, and there some clam sauce got put on it accidentally. She was really nice, and the waitress came over and said, is there any, how is everything? She says, well, she says, you know, I'm a vegetarian, and there's like grit in this. It tastes like clam sauce. And she said, oh, no problem. She had Primavera or some shit like that. She said, no problem. I'll take the sample. We're just sitting like in this pasta place where you can hear the cooks talk. Like, it was a weird setup, like almost like if you were at a diner and where they put the food up on the thing. And it's busy, and I can hear her go back to the chef and say, "Hey, do you think you could just put some Primavera on this, or what the fuck ever it was?" Because she thinks it's got something gritty. It tastes like clam sauce. And he said, "Tell her to go fuck herself." And I heard that, and it's busy, and I walked right back in the kitchen as he's cooking shit. I said, "Did I just hear you say that they can tell her to go fuck herself?" And he's like, "I wasn't talking to her." I said, "Yeah, you were. This is our dish, and you said that, and you fucking apologize right now." So the manager comes. They threatened to call the cops. I said, "Call the cops. You are not talking that way. And you tell me what time you get off, you motherfucker. You don't talk to anybody. I'm with it. I'm fucking pissed." Okay? So you get the gist of it. I don't let people, especially to nice people. Now, if you got to come in, it's not my business, fine. So I'm just kind of like that. So I have this blowout with the fucking contractor. I told Marty, he's there on a four-wheeler. They came over to my house. "You take this asshole back. It's a fucking fraud. Like to shove a Bible up his ass. And he better just keep on walking if he ever sees me." So he takes off. I never see him again. Well, when we had, and I'm not a fucker. If there's a beef or something's up front, I'm just going to talk to you about it. And I'm not a fucking troublemaker either. If you and I don't like each other, it's going to be straight up bullshit. I'm not going to make up stuff or start rumors about your wife or say you're a secret drug. I would never do dirty pool. I'm not like that. It's just straight up, and I think I've demonstrated that over the years on my channel. Well, the guy that put in the window that was crooked that had to come back, it's an employee of his. Now, he only has two. I saw the other one about a month ago, and he came up and shook my hand and said, "Hey, how you doing?" It's like, "Good, how you doing?" I said, "Good." I said, I don't talk to Steve. He said, "Yeah, I know." I said, "But that's got nothing to do with you, man. How's things going?" We shook hands again, and he took off, and fine. So this guy, now this is another supposed Bible thumper that works for him, the crooked window guy, the guy that works for him. So just as I get done laying that shit on the girl about, can you tell the difference, your husband, between a black and white girl? This guy walks in. And I have not seen him for months, probably April or something. February, I don't know. And would I ever hired him on the side? No. And he's worked for this guy, and they're big church goers, it's always this Bible shit, stuff like that. So he comes in, and he's up to the counter, and I'm standing like right next to her. It's just me, the girl I told you can tell the difference to, him and me. So first he gets like a triple caffeine shot drink, right? And I don't give a fuck. I'm just talking shit, joking around. I said, "Hey," and he's real friendly, really nice to me. And he gets that, and I said, "Wow." I said, "That's a drug." Because, they're always, he said, "I know." I said, "But you're covered. It's legal. No problem with that." Then he asked for a pack of cigarettes. And I said, "Oh, man." I said, "You're not treating the body as God's temple." He said, "I know," which I don't really give a fuck either. I'm just fucking joking around with a guy that supposedly is so religious, and here he's buying all this fucking shit that they're not supposed to do. And it wasn't like aggressive humor, but it was a manifestation of drinking too much coffee. So, no big fucking deal. And he's getting ready to leave, and I said, "I don't talk to Steven anymore." He said, "Yeah." "Oh, really?" He said, "I didn't know that." I said, "Yeah, it's no big deal. I'm not going to start talking about the guy's employer. I just want to keep this separate. Good seeing you. How you doing?" So just as he's getting ready to leave, he's turning towards me, smiling, and I jokingly said to him, "Hey, do you want some heroin to go?" And what I meant by that was, another thing that Jesus doesn't want you consuming. I'd never heard anything about heroin. I never knew of any drug problems with this guy. I was just talking shit. I could have just as easily said eating disorder, cigars, something that a good Christian isn't supposed to use. I just happened to say heroin is like an egregious example of, a third thing you can take home with you that Jesus doesn't want you to. That's all I meant. It really is. And you could see him swallow kind of hard. And he looked at me like fucking pissed. And he got really quiet. You could see like his face flushed. And he looked at me like, stared at me. And now, things have changed. I hit some kind of nerve. So he's staring at me like he's going to do something. And right away, I know this is going on. And like I said, back to my philosophy. He's fucking just standing there staring at me. I said, you got a problem with that? And I stepped up towards him. And he said, no, not a problem. I said, but you look like you do. I get instantly fucking pissed. And he walks out the door. Now, here's the issue. This is what I want your opinion on. I don't like that motherfucker that he works for. And I was fine with him until tonight. And the guy he works for has got a big mouth. He badmouths everybody behind their back. But I'm not the kind of guy to go around, even though I don't like him, and even though I'd fuck him if I could, to go around telling people what he said. It's just not my style. Like I said, I'd rather just be up and up. This is what happened. These are the facts, and fuck everything else. And what my guess is that this guy had a problem with heroin at one time. And he thinks that this asshole told me, which he's quite capable of doing, but he did not. I'd like to say I'd love for him to think that he told me, but I'm not like that. And even though I don't like this guy he works for, I don't want this guy thinking that this prick that he works for said something to me, because he didn't. I just kind of pulled heroin out of the hat is just to pile on a joke on one more thing before he left that he shouldn't be doing that he does. And he got fucking pissed. Now, everything else is conjecture. For all I know, he might think I'm a big asshole and that heroin has nothing to do with cigarettes and caffeine. He may have had a heroin problem, and he thinks his boss told me. But, if I run into this son of a bitch again, I don't know if it'll do any good. If he just said, hey, I think you're a big asshole, I'd just stay away from it. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We can do that. But I would like to apologize to him, because I was just kidding. And most importantly, I want him to know that this asshole he works for never told me anything about drug use with him. He did with other guys, but he never said it about him. And even if he did, I would have never repeated it to the guy. It's just starting trouble. It's starting shit. So I just kind of felt first pissed, then a little bad, but there's always that ace in the hole that I'm not really sure what triggered this guy. My guess would be that he told this asshole in confidence somewhere along the line, look, I used to be a heroin addict. I still am. Who knows? And he thinks that guy told me, and he didn't. And even though he's a prick, I don't want this guy thinking that. And you know what? The chances of me running into him again are very slim. So what do you think of that? Yeah, and you know what? He might not have had a problem, but he had to been there. I mean, if I said to anybody on a chat, hey, Callie, did you get your heroin for the week or something, we'd laugh or something like that. But if Callie just signed off and I never heard from her again, I just would find, minus not having a problem with heroin in your life, you may think it's a bad, shitty, inappropriate joke, but I don't think it caused what it caused tonight. And I really kind of felt bad about it. But circling back to the caffeine, I bet you I wouldn't have said that shit if I wasn't hopped up on caffeine. But I know I get like that sometimes when I am, and that's a perfect example. So, I mean, here's a guy that minus that, it was, how you doing? Good, how are you? Hope things are going well, see you later, which I would rather have. But the biggest thing on my mind is I don't want a guy feeling bad for the wrong reasons. It was just something I pulled out of a hat, which he doesn't know. But I'll bet you money he thinks that guy told him. Yeah. No, this guy is an employee for this guy. And I think they're doing, I don't know what they're doing to tell you the truth. I mean, I'm hoping I run into him. Now, he only had 2 employees. And the other guy said, it was great. Hey, Tom, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Great. I thought of next time I run into him to say something, but I don't really want to it's none of anybody's business. And, this guy's thinking I know something I shouldn't. And I don't want to tell it to a coworker and just get the dialogue going about, did you have a problem? Well, why'd you get mad about it? I'd like to, because it'd be the easiest way of doing it. But I'm hoping that I just run into this guy and just give him a chance to say, hey, man, yeah, I mean, you may not care for me, but your boss never said anything, for one. And I obviously used a poor choice of words for number two. So I was just, bringing up a vice that, hey, somebody's pulling into my driveway right now, which is super weird. That never happens. See him? Hang on a second. Hey, look at that pistol. Somebody just pulled it in my driveway all the way out of the house while we were talking. Shut up. Turn that light off. Thanks.
You might get weed?
No, turn that light off. Nope. I think they pulled right up here and turned their lights off near the driveway.
What's going on?
Well, they don't know what's what yet, and they don't know that I wasn't home, so I'd rather them do something. You know what I mean? I'll just sit here for a second.
Look,
Yeah.
that gun right there,
Yeah.
it has 6 shots. So all you do is point and pull.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Everything's double out.
Thanks. I just got a gun. I've never had that happen. And I think that car is pulled out right in front of this house. This is driveway with the lights off. No, you couldn't make a wrong turn. You could, but there's all sorts of no trespassing signs, all sorts of do not come in here, and a quarter of a mile back from a road with no houses on it to my house. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, keep this out here, Tom.
All right, thanks.
If you shine this, it'll blind them.
Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot. I mean, it could be that fucking...
You saw him pulled in there?
Yeah, I pulled right up to the house.
And then backed up?
Yeah.
Oh.
But how could you do that accidentally?
No, you can't.
Hey, you guys, let me sign back on in a minute. I'm going to go over there, okay? And I don't want to just keep you hanging. I'll be right back. I'll sign back on. It's weird, isn't it? I just wonder if it